Hello world, I'm Kai Rib. So about a year ago, or more, I saw that the Pixelorama devs released version 1.1. I thought that I'd make a video going over some of the cool and new things that were added. But I got more and more anxious about making the video and making it perfect, and then I began to procrastinate on it and get distracted. Yeah. Finally, I've gotten up the courage to actually finish the video. So here it is. I hope you like it. There's a lot of cool things we can now do in Pixelorama versions 1.1 and beyond. I have it separated into chapters so you can skip around if you'd like. So I don't know if this tool is like new to anyone else, but it was new to me, so I'll show it to you first. It's a second color picker. So before, if you wanted to select a color, you would go over to the toolbar and grab this color pick, and then click on the canvas to select a color. Then when you were done, you could switch back to a coloring tool and paint with that color. But now there's a new one, and it's hiding right over here. There are a couple of differences. For one, you have a nice magnification box and a color selection preview box. So if I go over here, I'm on the dark gray, but here it's brown. When I pick a color, it goes right back to the original tool I was using. It doesn't persist like the other one did. I kinda like that. I don't have to switch tools like I had to before. It saves on some clicks. Another cool thing about this is I can pick a color anywhere in the window. Like I can go over here and select this blue line. And I can select a color off of a reference image too. All these things I can't do with this one. It's stuck in the canvas only and will not grab colors from reference images. The only thing it can't do at the moment is grab colors from outside of the app, like on your desktop, for instance. Which one you prefer and which one you use will probably depend on your workflow style, but I kinda like the new one. So that's the new color picker tool. Next new feature I want to talk about is the ability to show or hide your reference images. So I have a palm tree reference image here, and when I enable the background layer, as you can see, it's kind of in the way. The old way to deal with this problem was to go into the references image panel and like move it out of the way or remove it from the project. But that's kinda inconvenient. So now if you go up to View, you can check or uncheck the Show Reference Images box. Now you can just hide them. I like this option much better. Next improvement is the way layouts are made. So a layout is just a different arrangement of the main UI. I'm in my own custom drawing layout. I can switch back to the default layout, which looks like this. What's new is that there's now a Reset Default Layout button. So if I want to create a new layout, and I move things around, like I move this over here, and put this over here, and I end up with a big mess, I can now reset everything back to the default, and everything will be alright. Couldn't do that before. Before, if you couldn't remember how to put everything back the way it used to be, it was just stuck that way. That's why in my first video I said,
because layouts cannot be reset. So if you mess up the default layout by moving the panels around, you can't undo it. And believe me, it's pretty easy to mess things up.
An important thing to note, though, is resetting only works for the default layout, not custom user-created layouts. So I've got a custom animation layout. If I change things around in my custom layout, I can't reset it to the way it used to be. Only default layouts, the default layout can be reset. So be careful when changing your user-made layouts, because they're not resettable. But if you do anything to the default layout, it is resettable. So I'm going to put everything back the way I like it. Also, I think the menu for making a new layout has changed. I'll demonstrate by making a new layout real quick. I'll just move the tools over to the right side, like that. To save this new UI configuration, I'll click the Add New Layout button. Let's name it Tools Left. Tools Right. And save. There we go. Now the tools is saved as a new layout. And I can delete it too if I want to. And it's gone. I think it's a little different than before. Before, I think there was a larger and more complicated layout menu. This next one I think is really good for guys who prefer drawing tablets more than a mouse for pixel art, like me. There's now a hotkey to swap tools, Shift X. This is really good for tablets because they, as far as I know, at least as far as I know, they don't really have a right click. So this right click tool wasn't really accessible, but now it's easy. You just swap it into the left click hand. So here the eraser is the left click and the pencil is the right click. If I switch it with Shift X, I've got the eraser in right click and the pencil in left click. This is one I know me and many others have wanted for a while, and it's finally here. We can now use the transformation tools on selections. This is a really big deal. It's always been a thing to be able to select something and move it around, or even scale it up and down. But if you wanted to, say, rotate it or something, you'd have to go up to the effects and click Rotate Image and do it in here, in this menu, and click OK to confirm. You can still do it that way if you really want to. There's probably still a place for doing it like this, but now it's just a lot easier and a lot like other editors. Place your mouse outside one of the corners and click and drag to rotate. It's that simple. Or click and drag just outside a midpoint to shear it. This was not possible at all before. When you're done, click the check mark in the Selection Tool Settings menu or hit Enter. I'm on a really high resolution canvas to demonstrate, so it does a fantastic job, but it still works with low-res sprites too without too much distortion. This is going to make transforms much more intuitive. Alright, let's talk about the new Isometric Box Tool. It's right at the bottom of the toolbar. We can draw a 3D isometric box with it. Just like that. Before this tool, we'd either have to just wing it, draw it freehand, or create a 3D layer and add a cube object. As you can see, it's doable, but the new tool is much better for making isometric box shapes, that's for sure. Even though that, like, works and everything, 3D layers are best for other things. The new tool is really nice, and you don't have to make a layer for it. You can just draw on any old pixel layer. I'll quickly run down on how to make a box. First, click to start drawing the first side. It's the bottom left edge. Click again to confirm the endpoint. The next segment is the corner. I think the corner is like how to make the box look like it has rounder edges, like a bevel. I want sharp edges, so I'll just click again in the same spot. Then draw out the rest of the length. Click to confirm, then move the mouse up for however tall you want it. And click one more time. Done! That's how the tool works, basically. Let me now try to draw one with a rounder corner. See how it looks a little more rounded? I think that's what this does. Let me scoot this out of the way. We also have options to autofill the shape with shading. I'll let you guys experiment with all the options, but the defaults are a pretty good starting place. I'll draw one just so that we can see what it looks like. Using it in combination with an isometric grid is like a super combo. Enable an isometric grid by going into the view and click on Show Grid. You can change the grid properties in the Preferences under the Canvas tab. I've already set mine up, so let me try and draw. So make sure you try out the new Cube tool and make some nice isometric pixel art. Let's move on to the Text tool. Yes, a dedicated tool for text. It's pretty simple to use. Click somewhere on the screen to add a text box and start typing. We can change the color too, and the size. If you want to move it around, grab outside the box, not inside the box. Click outside the box and drag. To confirm, click the check mark. Once you hit the check mark, you can't change it. It's baked in, you know, so it's just gonna be exactly how you left it. You can't edit it afterwards. This way is faster for simple text than the old way, which involved making a 3D layer and putting a text object on it. As you can see, it works, and there's room for you to do a lot more with the 3D option. But in most cases, a simple text tool is more than enough. While I was using the text tool, I ran into an interesting glitch. I don't know. If I use the bucket tool after adding some text, see how it doesn't fill in some of the space? Or if I bucket fill the background and then add some text, and then hit the check mark, you see how it gets all kind of crazy? I think it has something to do with the bucket tool and the text tool not playing well together. but there's just a really easy workaround. Just put the text on its own layer. And everything will be perfect. I bet this gets patched out real soon in a future version, or my version's just kinda crazy, I don't know. In fact, I kind of like the first glitch. It kinda acts like a drop shadow. Some changes have been made to the curve tool. The legacy way the curve tool worked was you clicked, and then you went to the next point, and clicked, and you kinda went around like this, and you'd click and drag to curve the line, and double-click to place the line. That's called the chained mode, and there's a new mode which is called the single mode. I think this one is supposed to be more like Aseprite's. So instead of chaining it together, it just draws one single line segment. I'll demonstrate. Click once, then click again for an endpoint. Now the smoothing handles appear, and you can pull it out like this. Click once for the first point's handle, and then again for the second endpoint's handle. So use whichever tool you're comfortable with, or both. Let me try and draw something with it. A hunter's bow. This really looks cool, actually. I like it. Pixelorama now has the ability to import Aseprite files. I have a test Aseprite project that we can try and load. It will open as a new project in a new tab. I'll play the animation. It's just the number 300 that pops out. I made this quite a while ago. You can't export an Aseprite file that I know of yet. Now it's just like any other project, and you can edit it or save it as a new Pixelorama project. Or whatever you want to do. I think the import dialog works better now too. Opening an Aseprite project or a Pixelorama project will open it in a new tab. But opening an image file like a PNG or JPEG, it asks you how you'd like to import it. This dialog pops up and asks how I want it imported, like as a new project, a new layer, a new reference image, etc. I'll pick reference image, and it's put the image in the reference space. You see it's behind the canvas? Before, this dialog didn't always pop up, and something had to be drawn on the canvas first or something. Unfortunately, it still doesn't pop up when I drag an image in from a file explorer, like that for instance. See, it just defaults to opening it as a new project. It doesn't give that dialog. Let's talk about my favorite feature, something that's not found in most pixel editors, I think. And that is audio. This new update allows us to import audio into our animations. I think this sort of thing was possible in the past with an extension. The audio extension, I think, but now it's just built right into the app. So I'm going to show you now how to use audio in your projects. I've prepared a short animation of yours truly. It's not half bad, but what would take this to the next level would be adding a jump sound effect, right when he leaves the ground. The way to add audio to your project is to create an audio layer. It's a new type of layer in the drop-down. When you click it, it will add a blank audio track. To put sound in it, right-click on it, choose Properties, and here you have the option to load in the audio file you want to use. I've got a jump sound effect saved. See, there's like a bar here? That means there is sound in that frame. And if I hit play, you can hear the sound. But it's not in the right spot. It needs to be moved to the right here, I guess. So the way to move it around is to go back to Properties and change the play at frame number. See how it moves? Now let's see if it's in the right place. I think I want it over one more. Yeah, that's better. And you can export your finished animation with the sound included. Make sure to pick the MP4 format because it supports audio. And click Export. And now I'm just playing it in a normal video player to test it, and as you can hear, the sound is exported. So that's how to use audio in Pixelorama. There's actually another way to import audio into your projects, and it's super easy. I'll create a blank project to demonstrate it. It's possible to drag and drop an audio file into your project. So I'll grab this music and drop it in the main window. And it will automatically create a new audio layer for you with the song in it. Let me add some more frames. So that's the song. This would be very useful if you need to animate or lip sync to a voice track. I'm going to try and animate a character to the beat. That was kind of fun. How do you think I did? Pixelorama can now create tile maps and tile sets. This is more of a thing for game devs and artists, especially retro gamers, so it was a bit new to me. So I'll just hit the high points of what I understand best. To create a new tile map, you have to create a tile map layer first. So just like an audio layer, but a tile map. When first making one, there's a lot of customizing you can do, but since I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna just leave it on the defaults. When you switch to the tile map layer, this window should pop up. This is the window that shows all the tiles in the tile set. I kind of think of tile sets like palettes. Tiles are like the color swatches in a palette, and a tile map is like the canvas where the picture is. There are two modes. You can be either in the Modify Tiles mode, or by clicking this button, you can switch to the Place Tile on the Canvas mode. I will demonstrate by creating some water tiles for a water tile set. Let's see if I can do this. Let me turn on a 16 by 16 grid to help me draw the tiles the right size. I'll start with some blue water. Oops, that's not blue. There we go, blue water. There, that's my go at some wavy water. So I've just created a tile, and as you can see, it's added to the tile set over here. Now I want to put more tiles on the canvas. So I need to switch into the placement mode. Also, clicking on a tile will put me into the place tile mode automatically. Now I'm going to put some tiles on the screen. So just drawing some tiles, filling up the space. Now I'm going to go back to the tile edit mode and make a variation to our first water tile. So watch what happens when I edit a tile. It creates a new tile in our tile set. Now I have two water tiles going, so I'll start putting that around. Let's try to add an island tile. So I'll go back to the tile edit mode, and I'll pick a sandy beach color, and let's put the island here. So I'm editing a tile, so it should make a new one for me. Yep. Now I'll go back into the tile place mode and make more of the shore. Oh, this is a good example of another thing. See, my tiles don't line up very well, do they? I could try and edit them again to make them line up, but I discovered I can rotate and flip tiles. So you can get these different orientations, and sometimes that can help line things up. These are the same tiles, right? They're just flipped around. Say I want to update all the tiles that look like this, instead of making a whole new one. I just want to make a change. That's what this button is for right here. So now when I draw on a tile, see, it didn't create a new tile like before. Instead, it updated all the old ones. If I turn this off, it's back to the way it was before. If I make an edit to one of these, like this, it doesn't update the tiles, it creates a new tile. So be aware of all these modes, and I don't know for you, but at least for me, it can get a little confusing. So here's a quick tip that may help keep you from getting too lost about what tile's what. Each tile has a number. I think this one is the 0 tile. Yes. And I have 4 tiles. If I hold down the Control key, I can see which tile is in which square of my tile map. I got tile 1 here, and tile 2 here, and here I have tiles 3 and 4. And then this H and this HV here mean that tile 3 has been flipped around, horizontally and vertically. I imagine this is really important info to know if you were coding a game and need to make sure your tile map shows up correctly from your code. So, hopefully I've gotten you started by showing you the basics of the Tilemap layer. That's it! I hope you enjoyed and learned some new things. Thanks for watching, and sorry it took me so long to make it. Until next time!
I said I was sorry. I'll do better next time.
There isn't gonna be a next time!